Hello and welcome to yet another episode of JournaTimes by the Adamus University Media Science. I am Zoya Aziz. On the show today, we are to discuss about the impact of air pollution, not just on the environment, but on human health as well. We are all aware of how every year during Diwali, the air pollution gets terrible across large parts of India. Air pollution in our country, our cities, some of the most polluted in the world, yet we continue to follow such unhealthy practices in the pretext of festival rituals, even at a time when serious respiratory issues like asthma and COVID-19 continues to take a toll. In today's Journal Times episode, we are to discuss about whether we should continue such unhealthy practice in the name of celebrations or time has come to take corrective measures by keeping environment and health issues in mind. So that's the question we are looking at on our show today. For the discussion today, I have a panel of journalism students from the Adamus University. I have Shadman Alam, Baul Chakrabarti, and I have Kayan Khatun with us. Shadman, let me come to you first. There were trolling against celebrities advocating for Save Diwali, and in fact, on court orders as well for ban on firecrackers because it was considered as forced restrictions on celebrations. Yet we saw how the air quality in Delhi and Kolkata worsened due to bursting of firecrackers. So, how justifiable do you feel it is to stick to traditions which harm the environment and in return human health?
See, if I count your points now, we can't ignore the tradition, okay? Because we belong from the country like India, and India is the country of rituals and belief. So at the same time, it gives a people a sense of belonging, like practicing your rituals, practicing your beliefs will give you a sense of your belonging, and somehow it managed to contribute the sense of comfort and peace
Hmm.
to your mind, to your mentality. So festival means is a kind of essence of happiness, and it is, and this essence should be spread all around the world. Like it is a every human right, you can say, to celebrate any particular festival. But I will count to you, Zoya, that you really think so, that it is really happening all around the world, that we are actually everyone is actually celebrating the festivals. You really think so?
No.
Exactly. Because the people who live below the poverty lines, or the people who are living in the slums, does not able to celebrate the festivals, and
Hmm.
they demand on other people, like they demand or somehow they depend as well. At the same time, they depend as well for their happiness. So it's our moral responsibility, you can say, that to practice, in order to practice mutualism, we can celebrate festival, like everyone have rights to celebrate festivals, so everyone can celebrate their festival in their own way. So for that we have to practice the mutualism here, and without harming the environment, like investing our money in a very proper way, in a very right way, we can celebrate the festival as well. And somehow it will also give us a sense of practicing our beliefs, our religion, which is, you all of us know that, all of already aware about that, it give a sense of belief and peace. So I think that it is necessary to practice your festival, practice your beliefs, practice your festival, but in a very proper way, like in a without harming the environment. We can do that. It is possible right now even.
Hmm. Baul, I would like you to enlighten me on this. In the entire argument of livelihood versus the health of millions of people, don't you at one point feel that the right to livelihood falls apart when it's something that threatens the lives of people?
Well, it obviously does because even if we take the whole world view out of the question and just focus on India, there are around 6.5
Hmm.
lakh families who are directly depending on the firework industry to have their livelihood. So if we take that away, if we
Hmm.
ban firecrackers, what do we do to their lives? We just take them away because we are not giving them any sustainable or any other source of income that they can go to. We are just banning an industry and not doing anything about the sufferers of that industry's workers. So that is not the way it's supposed to work. It's not a question of somebody gets to live and the others get to die. Yes, firecrackers do pose a lot of problems to both environment and health, but that does not mean that we can just stop an industry without having any idea what to do with the people who will be displaced by the stopping of that industry, or what the economical ramification of that industry would be, and what would be the resultant of the political or economical crisis that might result from banning the industry, and whether it will be moral to ban an industry or not. Because at the end of the day, firecrackers is an industry, and we had a market share of 90% of the world's firecrackers industry at one point, which China now controls. Very weirdly, we are not allowed to buy China products in India, but China controls 90% of the world's firecracker industry, which we had control over. So I think that the state status speak for themselves.
Yes, Baul, I get your point. Now let me take Kayan in. Kayan, the narrative online during Diwali has been one about how firecrackers don't compound the air quality because it already exists. So, what do you think about this narrative?
I absolutely agree that we have a pollution problem, but that doesn't mean we should be getting involved in extreme exposures, events like the ones caused by bursting firecrackers. Because the pollution levels of India reached hazardous levels post Diwali, despite appeals to not burst crackers in this year. As per CPCB records, there is not a single city in North India where the air quality is good or satisfactory as of today. This means Diwali crackers may or may not be the only cause of pollution, but it can be proved to be lethal for persons suffering from some physical ailments, some serious physical ailments.
I would like to get back to Shadman. Shadman, there were many states that allowed people to burst green crackers. So during Diwali, so is there anything called the green cracker, and do you think that helps?
See, if you are talking about the green crackers, I would like to introduce what it is actually. The green crackers is not made up of some harmful elements. You know what kind of harmful elements we have, like aluminum, barium, potassium nitrate, and the carbon. The major cause of the global warming right now, the carbon, like all the kinds of emission happening right now. We already seen the COP26. The major topic of discussion was emission. So the the major thing, the carbon is not going to be in the green crackers as compared to the ordinary crackers we have. So comparing the pollution, it's like green crackers are 30% less pollution, creating less pollution than the ordinary ones. And also, if green crackers is not consist of the carbons, then it's also protect us. Green crackers also going to protect us from various things like carbon re-emits infrared radiation, and thus also make the planet warmer. And carbon emission is also responsible for severe chronic lungs diseases. So in that case, we can say that green crackers is somehow beneficial. But another thing I would like to include here, or I want to put some light here, that the whole scenario is that we are still creating a pollution. Like I can't, I 70% I can't. The pollution is also happening by the green crackers. For example, noise pollution. So whether the type of cracker it will create pollution. It doesn't depend that it is an ordinary crackers or whether it is a green crackers. It is cracker and it will create pollution. For example, I would like to conclude these things with an instance that suppose if you plant if you plant a tree in the garden, okay, more or less it will contribute towards the greenery, whatever the kind of plant it is, whatever the kind of tree it is. So whether it is green or ordinary crackers, if you are supposed to fire only one or just for few hours, it will contribute towards pollution. And impact is already, we already all are aware about the impacts right now, we as we seen in the last few days.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There were also narratives about how cracker industry, like tobacco or liquor industry, is one of the largest industry of our country, and it just cannot be banned because um, our economy is thriving on it. So, Baul, what do you think the impact of no firecrackers will have on people in the business?
Well, it will have the same impact it has every time the government has banned something or prohibited something without taking the people's views in mind. It will go on, just the government will not get the subsidy it deserves. Even after the crackers industry was banned this year, did we see no crackers? We saw lots of them. I mean, in my area only, there were hundreds of people running around with crackers. There were cracker shops out in the open. There were people were buying, selling, and doing everything with crackers. So, and I'm pretty sure those were not legal crackers, and those were not green crackers either. And just like tobacco or liquor, crackers also has their uses in dangerous. Just like tobacco or alcohol industry, crackers does bring us a lot of money, which we have to accept, and we have to create a situation or a infrastructure in which we can actually control the outcome or the input and the output of the industry that we are having, without just without just simply banning or unbanning something, but rather than creating a manageable infrastructure around it.
Yes, I absolutely agree. There was also a Pataka trend on Twitter encouraging people to celebrate Diwali with crackers. We already witnessed how what happened during Diwali due to ignorance of people, and plus we are still dealing with the pandemic, and we are aware of the respiratory issues that people face post COVID. So why can't people stop something as small and as unnecessary as crackers? Isn't it possible to follow rituals by putting humanity first, Kayan?
See, of course, humanity comes first, but it's just one side of the coin. Years after years, a huge chunk of people, about 6.5 lakh people, dependent on the firework industry, as we all know, suffers from rude market shocks because of last minute policy and judicial responses to air pollution around the time of Diwali. The worker in the fireworks industry, most of whom are just as vulnerable to economic shocks as people with respiratory ailments, are to the pale of smoke in big cities are almost invariably dealt a bad hand.
I absolutely get your point. With this, we come to the end of this discussion, and thank you all for joining to make sense of this polarized debate that was going on social media. At the end of the day, it's all about conserving our environment and protecting ourselves from the severe health issues that we are getting affected with. And I also hope that this discussion has been one step forward in that direction. Thank you all for joining.